And in a world where celebrities behave badly and there's Facebook, Twitter, and iPods that provide constant distraction, it can be hard to get kids to take notice of the world around them. How to do that is the focus of the new book, The World Needs Your Kid, Raising Children Who Care and Contribute. And joining us now is the author, Craig Kielburger. Craig, good morning to you. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Now, we'll start with a little mention of Lindsay Lohan and Paris Hilton. What do you think about it?
Oh, I couldn't think of a better transition and, frankly, a better advertisement why we need this type of book in the world, because that's what young people see for the role models. We need to start having positive conversations with youth, not about the Lindsay Lohans, the Paris Hiltons, but what does it mean to have meaning, purpose, gratitude, empathy, caring, compassion, give back to others? That's the reason why we wrote the book.
And so when you look at the kids of the world today, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
They're good kids. We work with more than 1 million young people. So how I first got involved was when I was 12 years old, started a small nonprofit to help children help other children. It was an after-school club with a bunch of friends. Now in 45 countries around the world, the organization I founded, Free the Children, runs. So we work with 1 million young people. They want to get involved. They're searching to get involved. But parents and teachers have to have those conversations. Give them the teachable moments to care.
So you were 12 years old when you started this organization. You're 27 now, by the way. It's the largest organization in the world of its type.
Exactly.
Why put together this book? What's the message you're trying to get across?
Well, because we don't have the pleasure to work with every single young person, so we want to give these tools to parents, to teachers, to educators, those who work with youth. Simple, everyday actions. Whether it be that map of the world on your child's bedroom wall, or the jar of loose change, or sharing gifts with others. Various people wrote for the book, from the Dalai Lama to Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and he wrote a beautiful story of how every day he takes a newspaper, starts his morning by putting it flat on the kitchen table, and he sees it as God's to-do list delivered to his front door. Not as a collection of all the violence and negativity that we see on the news, but a chance to have a conversation with his kids.
Now, looking at you and just seeing the passion that you have on your face, and even while talking about it, we go back to your childhood for a second. If we were to mention activists when you were 8 or 9, that's something that would have probably never come to mind.
But it was small things my parents did. And for example, I share this in the book and the story about going to downtown Toronto. My mother would often walk past people who were homeless. She wouldn't just walk past, though. She would stop, she would give spare change, she'd ask them their name, where they're from, how long they've been on the streets. And I told her how much I admired her, how she was nice to help others. And it was years later that she looked at me and she said the real reason why she did it was acknowledging their humanity, so my brother and I wouldn't just walk by. Most parents wouldn't stop and think twice, but it was a simple, teachable moment, and we try to highlight those opportunities for parents to have those conversations with their kids.
Which is a good point. How do you recognize parents, or how do you get parents to recognize how much of a role that they play in getting their children to contribute?
Massively. In fact, the studies and you know, we did 3 years of interviews behind the book show that the greatest influence on kids is still parents, despite the Lindsay Lohans and the Paris Hiltons and the Twitters. It's what parents do that matters. So role modeling, showing by example. We divided The World Needs Your Kid into 3 sections. The first was how parents could help raise compassionate kids. So for parents, share your kids what you care about. Put the language around empathy. The second section, courage. Support your kids. Nurture them when they raise their voice against bullying in the world or speak out. And the last is community. How do you create character education in schools? How do you sign up your kids for programs that support this? And how do you create and find good media that nurture kids to get excited about the world?
Now, we live in a world, and this is what I'm going to end with here, with iPods and Facebook and texting, and so many would say that the intimate face-to-face nature of relationships that existed a decade ago doesn't exist now. How do you break kids out of that and inspire them to do something for the community and do something for the world when technology right in front of them is so much more appeasing?
Well, it's true, but it's creating those simple everyday moments. And the equation, we believe, is issue plus gift equals better world. Find what your kids naturally love to do, whatever their gift is. Maybe it's sports. Match that with an issue they care about, and that's how you make a difference. So sports plus poverty, well, create an event in your school where you've raised money by doing a small sporting event. Maybe their gift is art, in which case help them address issues around our troops around the world by making cards that you can send to help support them. Create these type of simple opportunities in a family. Issue plus gift equals better world. Kids want to help. They want to make a difference. They see the violence and poverty in our world. It's up to parents to start having those conversations to show kids that they do matter and that what they do can make a positive difference. And the greatest part, it's good for the kids themselves. Right. Raises marks, shows they have higher self-esteem. One of the greatest gifts parents could ever give their kids is help them help someone else.
you go. And it doesn't necessarily take feeding an army of 500. It's the small things day after day.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Craig Kielburger, it's so good to see you this morning. Thank you for dropping by. We appreciate
Thanks
it.
you so much for sharing the message.
It's excellent. Appreciate it. Hope to get the book here. And by the way, if you were interested, the book, The World Needs Your Kid, Raising Children Who Care and Contribute.